Okay, today we're going to make a recipe in celebration of Cinco de Mayo. And by the way, for you beginning Spanish students, that is not 5 Mayonnaise Day. And for those who are beginning history, that's not Mexican Independence Day. It's in celebration of a remembrance of a little battle that happened between the Mexican army and the French army. And it was one of those battles that everybody expected France to win, and Mexico won. And so it's become quite the day of celebration for Mexican pride. And so, what better way to celebrate than with good food and good drinks and good friends? And my recipe today is beef taquitos. All right, I am going, for my shredded beef, I'm going to use brisket. I've got one brisket. This was 4.8 pounds of brisket. I've kind of cut it up in the chunks where it would fit in the pan a little better. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some water in here. And we're going to basically simmer this beef brisket until it falls apart. We're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it on. I've got one large onion that I've quartered up. We're going to throw that in here. 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in here. I like cooking my meat with some salt. And really, salt is to taste, but I'm going to put roughly about a tablespoon of salt in here as a starting point. There we go. Now, over here, I've got some water. Got 3 tomatoes, 1 jalapeno, 3 guajillo chilies that I've cut off the stems and taken out the seeds, or most of the seeds, and 1 ancho chili, kind of the same thing. And we're just going to cook this. We're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to cook these for about 15-20 minutes to get everything softened up. Now the beef, we're going to cook this for about 2 hours. I'm going to put a little more water in there, and we're just going to keep cooking it until it shreds right apart. Alright, one thing I forgot to do, actually a couple things I forgot to, one thing I forgot to do and one thing I forgot to show you. Now, I forgot to show you that I'm going to slowly break up these onions a little bit, and also just occasionally come by and skim off this foam. You don't really want that. You know, I mean, just like making soup. Anyway, I'm going to do that. And I forgot to add my bay leaf. I want to add two bay leaves to this. And then occasionally we're just probably going to come around. We're going to flip our meat over and make sure we're getting good contact in here. In fact, I need to add some more water to that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add some more water. Be back. Alright, so I flipped the meat over. Kind of push the onions and everything down. Bring that pot up, bring that liquid level up. We're going to put our lid back on. And we're just going to keep simmering that. It's going to take about 2 or 3 hours. No rush, no hurry. Alright, so now this is what we're going to flavor the meat with later. Take our tomatoes. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead, let's get our chili peppers in there. Oh yeah, I'm going to cut this up. Be right back with you. Alright, so I cut the stem off. I took out most of the seeds. I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin in here. We don't want to put a whole bunch. A 1/4 teaspoon ought to be enough. Now I'm going to try to do this without adding any extra of the liquid that I cooked that in. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Now we're going to set this aside and we'll use this in a couple hours. Okay, our beef has been cooking for about 3 hours. Every once in a while I come and turn it around, flip it over, keep it moving. I did add a little bit more water at one point, but now I'm just kind of letting that water level go down. There's one thing you'll see as my meat has shrunk up quite a bit. It's not taking up nearly as much room in the pot as it was. But we're going to go ahead. we're going to turn this off, let it cool down a little bit. We're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then so anyway, I'll be back tomorrow and we'll continue on. Okay, so here it is the next day. Our meat and our stock and everything has been sitting in the fridge overnight. Now you don't have to let it sit overnight, it's just that I run out of time, and that really is a good time. Just makes it nice and easy to get this fat off of here. Now for this recipe I'm not going to be using the liquid, but I'm going to save it because we're going to make soup with that later. Anyway, I'll be back with you here in a minute. Okay, so we've got our fat skimmed off of our broth. We've got our meat out, kind of draining a little bit. Now here's our meat. Got a little bit of a fat cap here. Now this was trimmed pretty good, so there's not a whole lot of fat on it, but there is some extra fat. I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to take that off. You don't have to worry about getting it all off, but get it down to where you're happy with it. I mean, if you want it real lean, take it all off. If you want to leave the extra fat on there, go ahead. I mean, hey, it's your tacos. And we're going to cut the meat into more manageable slices. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to start kind of shredding this up. And we're just going to keep going until we get it all shredded up. Now the nice thing about doing this in a big piece like this, since you're taking the time to do this, you can make big batches, and then whatever you have left you can just freeze it and enjoy it later. Alright, so we're just about done straining our sauce out. Got almost all the goodies out of here. Now this is seeds and tough skin from the dried chili, and we really don't want that in our meat. That's just not very good. You don't really have to cook this very long, but you do want to fry it a little bit in the oil. That helps to kind of finish it off. Now we haven't really put a lot of salt and stuff in there. What we're going to do, take a little bit of meat. Yeah, it needs a little salt. Because remember, the meat hasn't really been salted either. How much salt to put is really up to you. Just kind of put a little bit, taste, then go from there. Now, what we're going to do, leave this fire on low. We're going to put our meat in. And we're just going to blend this in. Oh, I got a piece that I didn't shred. I have to shred that up. Alright, so we've got this meat all shredded up. We've got the sauce mixed in pretty good. Everything's heating up. Now we're going to take and put about a cup of our broth that we cooked the meat in. There we go. And we're just going to kind of cook this on low until it dries out. Again, it's just, I don't know, you don't really have to use the broth if you don't want to, but I like to do that. Make sure that all the seasoning gets into the meat really good, flavors that meat up just the way I like it. Alright, and this only took just a couple of minutes. And the meat's nice and hot, it's soaking up everything. Now this meat can be used for tacos, enchiladas, whatever. Alright, so my taquitos, I like avocado, like a guacamole or something. So I got a half a small avocado here. I'm going to put some lime juice in there. This lime's pretty dry. I think that's enough. A little bit of salt. Doesn't need much, but just a little bit of salt. Now the ratio for the rest of this stuff is really up to you. I like some red onion, a little bit of cilantro, some tomato, and then we just mash it up. Okay, so now we need to soften our tortillas. You can do them in a microwave or anything like that, but I'm going to do these in low temperature oil. And all you got to do is just basically lightly fry them. You don't want to cook them because then you won't be able to, they'll get hard, break. But by doing this, they'll be pliable and they won't break when I roll them up. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going until I'm done. Okay, so now our tortillas should be pliable and they shouldn't tear apart when we try to roll them up. Give our meat a mix. And then we'll take a little bit of this. Kind of spread it around. Give that a roll. Keep going. I got too much meat there. Switch for the next one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these down in the oil, seam side down. And we'll just keep this rolling. Alright, so these have been cooking a little bit. Should be starting to crisp up a little. We'll roll them over. Yep, that one's trying to come apart on me. Need to cook a little more. I'm going to turn this heat up a little bit and we'll just keep cooking them. Alright, so let's plate some of these guys up. I'm putting them seam side down just so that they're prettier. Now the one that was trying to open on me, he doesn't make it on the plate. I'm going to eat him. Nice big scoop of our avocado mixture right there. And then we're going to put a little bit of our onion, which it's not really sticking, is it? There we go. A little tomato, a little cilantro, and there you go. That's our plate. Okay, so how'd they turn out? Let's find out. All right, first bite. Yeah. These are good. I'll try some with some avocado now.